And that's just to say you're growing your own 60 qualifying conditions. It's not about medicine. It's really not. They'll tell you, they'll have commercials with these kids having seizures, bleeding, and they'll give them cannabis oil, and the seizures will subside. But guess what? It is an 11,000 word measure that mentions oil one time. It's about smoking marijuana. And last time I checked, smoking marijuana was not medicine. And so they're masquerading as medicine, and that's what you'll hear throughout the election. And so you have a second one, which is an amendment, which will be etched into the Constitution, which there's no grow your own in this one. But this one's more of a business. This creates a monopoly. So instead of growing your own, if they only have 21 qualifying conditions, but guess what? Pain, muscle spasms, nausea, still part of the 21 qualifying conditions. And you can go, if your qualifying condition isn't on there, you can go to the Department of Health and petition for your qualifying condition to be added to the list. So with David Couch, no grow your own, but instead it's a monopoly. There's a commission, 5-person commission, that will allow 4 to 8 distributors to have marijuana farms here in Arkansas. So you have another commission giving only 4 to 8 people the rights to farm marijuana and to distribute marijuana here in Arkansas. So you either grow your own or you have a monopoly, but both are recreational marijuana. And that's what that's what you need to tell people. I think the reason why the polling data is so bad is, thankfully, we live in a great Christian state. And so when you go to these churches, Christians want to help people. They want to help the person with cancer. They want to help the kid with epilepsy. They want to help our veterans that come back. But the problem is, this is not about that. They're using that as a way to tug at people's heartstrings, but instead, it's recreational marijuana. And the funding that they get, you look at their financial disclosure reports, are all from organizations out of state that want medical marijuana in other states. Recreational marijuana.
I bet there's about 7 or 8 of them, aren't there?
Yes. And they're all
the ones that are all going to get these distributorships.
That's right. And so you have children who can legally smoke. You're paying for the homeless to smoke marijuana. And you have state agencies like the ABC Board, the Department of Health, who are supposed to regulate it, but they're not going to be able to regulate it. There's no way. They can barely do what they're supposed to do right now. So you have marijuana that's going to be legalized statewide. And if I know Carlton runs a business, as other people in here are business owners, you can't not hire, you can't fire someone if they have that marijuana card. You'll have to rewrite your entire drug policy because there is an affirmative action clause in both of these measures, unlike Colorado. And so that has caused the State Chamber of Commerce to jump on board.
What's the affirmative action? I'm sorry, I'm an HR director,
Okay.
so I'd like to know what the affirmative action is.
Well, the affirmative action clause is really simple. Obviously, federal law still stays the same. So if you're driving across state lines, you have the drug test, those still stay the same. But unlike Colorado does have a stricter affirmative action or non-affirmative action clause. So if you're a business owner and the person has a marijuana card, you think they're not performing well, you think they're coming to work high, your policy is to, most people's policy is to not hire people who smoke marijuana or test positive for marijuana. That's no longer the case. You cannot, in the affirmative action clause, you cannot fire someone because they're high on marijuana per se. And then there's no definition for under the influence. So they say you can't, if you're a school bus driver, obviously you can't smoke on the school bus. But who's to say that the school bus driver ate a pot brownie at home or smoked a joint at home before he got on the school bus? There's no way to prove that or under the influence. And then he pulls out his card, I have a marijuana card. I have a disease or ailment that approves me to have this medicine. You can't fire him. But they can take him to court. And that's the affirmative action clause for actually both of the measures. Which is why we have the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce that are on board now, and Arkansas Farm Bureau is on board now. It typically stays out of these types of fights, but they know how bad it will be for businesses all around the state.